This demonstration we're going to look at installing and deploying a remote application program. So we're going to configure the remote app program, create a little MSI file, deploy the remote app program, then install the MSI on our client computer, and then just test to make sure that the remote app works. The remote app just allows me to launch a remote desktop and have the application running automatically within that remote desktop. So what we're going to do here is first of all just install the application that we're going to deploy. So we'll come into the control panel, click on programs, and we're going to install an application on our remote desktop server. Right, click our next button. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to browse through the file that we're going to install, and in this point it's going to be PowerPoint Viewer that we're going to install. So we've got /lab files, PowerPoint Viewer. Click our next button. Just read through the license agreement. Click our continue button and allow this to install. So what we'll do here, we'll just leave the wizard running, so we'll pause the video and return back once the application is installed. Okay, installation is now complete, so we'll just click OK. We'll just finish our admin install, so we've now installed the PowerPoint Viewer. Close down the program screen. The next thing for us to do is to actually create our custom MSI file for the remote app deployment. Right, so the next thing to do, just click on our Start button, then to our admin tools. Within our admin tools, go to Remote Desktop Services, and then within here we need to go to our Remote App Manager. Okay then, we need to add our remote app programs. Brings us into a little wizard, so we'll just select Next. And then we need to choose the programs to add, and the program that we're going to install here is our PowerPoint Viewer. We'll then click on the properties, and what we want to do here is we want to make this available to our users. So we'll just click on our user assignment, and as we can see it's available to all authenticated domain users. The little tick box I turned off there was just for the RD web access. I don't have that installed. So we're happy with that. We'll click OK, select our next button, and then select our finish button. What we can now see down at the bottom here, we have Windows Microsoft Office PowerPoint Viewer available as a remote app program. Right, so we'll highlight this application, and then what we'll do here, just scrolling down, is we'll just create a Windows installer package. Right, into the wizard. So we'll select Next. Just on the specified package settings, we're not going to really bother changing anything here. We've got the location for the package here. We've got any of the host settings, gateway settings, and so on. We don't have any of this stuff installed really, with the exception of the remote desktop server, and we are going to access this on port 3389. So we'll select Next. In the case of the configure the distribution package, all we're going to do here is just click on the little tick box to associate client extensions for this program with the remote app. So if we do have any PPT files, we can open up the PowerPoint Viewer. Selecting where the shortcut will appear, we'll have this on the Start menu folder, and what we can also do as well is stick it on the desktop. So what we'll do, we'll just leave the default of the Start menu folder, select Next, and then select Finish. So now what it's done, it's created our MSI. The next thing we need to do here is just create a custom RDP file for the remote app deployment. Now let's just close this down. Next thing to do here, like we said, is just create this remote app deployment. So what we're going to do is we're just going to actually create the RDP file. Right, so we're going to create an application here for Calculator. So all we're going to do yet again, add a remote app program. Select our Next button. What we'll do here, turn on Calculator. Click on the properties of Calculator, and on the under user assignment here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to allow this for all authenticated domain users, and click OK. Select our Next button, select our Finish button, and now what we'll do on the calculator is we'll actually create an RDP file. So we'll create the RDP file, select Next. Won't bother changing any of the defaults, so we'll select Next and select Finish, and now we can see we've also got our RDP file. So the next thing to do here really is to install the MSI file for PowerPoint Viewer onto our client machine, and also then copy the RDP file to the client computer as well to allow the remote desktop session to the calculator program. Right, I've come across on NYC CL1, and what we're going to do on NYC CL1 is the first thing we're going to do here is I've just connected through to NYC Server 5. I've got the C drive, program files and package programs. I'm just going to grab hold of the MSI file, And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click install. So as we can see, it's installing PowerPoint Viewer. The next thing to do here is take the Rdp file used for calculator, copy this, and what we'll do is we'll just stick this onto the desktop of CL1. So we now have installed the MSI extension, and we've also copied across the calc.rdp. Now remember, when we run these applications, we're actually running from the remote desktop server. So we'll just close down this screen here. Next thing we need to do is just verify that all of this works. Right, so to do that, we'll just click on our Start button, go to All Programs, go to our Remote Programs, and we'll just click on Microsoft Office PowerPoint Viewer. As we can see here, it's a remote app, so we're going to connect through now to our remote desktop server. So we'll select Connect. And what we'll do here is we'll just log in as Andrea. So we'll use another account and log on as a user called Andrea. Click OK. You can see it's starting up the PowerPoint Viewer. Next thing to do here is just accept this license agreement, and as we can see now, we have PowerPoint Viewer up and running. So that's proved that that remote application works fine. So we'll just cancel out of that. The next thing we're going to do here is just actually open up the calc program. So we'll double click on the calculator program. Again, it's a remote app being published from MyC Server 5. So we'll select Connect. And as you can see, calculator is running. And again, though, this is running from the remote desktop server. So what we've done here is we've published applications in two ways. We've published an MSI extension and installed the application locally. And we've also copied on the calc.rdp file, which gives me the remote desktop session purely into the calculator application. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thanks very much.